Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jay Cohn.
And I'm Jeanelle Slade. The nation reeling tonight after the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history. The
suspect opened fire from above, shooting and killing at least 59 people and wounding more than 500 at a country music festival in Las Vegas.
Tonight, we'll hear from residents across Montana who witnessed this horrific mass shooting and took action to help others.
The FBI tonight says the shooter had no connection to international terror groups. We begin with the very latest from the scene. Here's CBS's Danielle Nottingham.
We just learned investigators recovered 18 explosives, firearms, and electronics from Stephen Paddock's home about 80 miles outside of Las Vegas, along with thousands of rounds of ammo. And officials say he wasn't on their radar. Law enforcement officers cordoned off the crime scene as they continue to identify bodies in the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history. Country music star Jason Aldean was performing at the Route 91 Harvest Festival Sunday night when gunshots rang out.
Get down, stay down. There's people laying everywhere. People were bleeding.
We have an active shooter. We have an active shooter inside the fairgrounds.
Many in the estimated crowd of 22,000 thought it was fireworks until victims started falling.
I saw people in front of me get hit with bullets, and my first thing was just to hop on my friends and make sure everyone was okay.
Police identified the shooter as 64-year-old Stephen Paddock from Mesquite, Nevada. They say he opened fire from his hotel room on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay onto the crowd below before killing himself.
We have one suspect down inside the room.
Police describe Paddock as a lone wolf with no known motive. The Islamic State claimed responsibility, but the FBI says there's no immediate evidence connecting the attack to an international terror group.
I don't know how it could have been prevented if we didn't have any prior knowledge to this individual.
Paddock's brother says the family is horrified and they have no idea what triggered the rampage.
No religious affiliation, no political affiliation, no, he just hung out.
And no history of mental illness?
Not a bit.
Authorities are asking for blood donations and say it will take time to identify all the dead and injured. Investigators say Paddock killed himself before SWAT teams stormed the hotel room. They recovered 19 weapons in the room, and he also used a hammer-like device to smash open those windows that he shot through to the crowd below. Live in Las Vegas, Danielle Nottingham. Now back to you.
Authorities say a friend of Paddock's, who is considered a person of interest, is out of the country, and they plan to speak with the woman when she returns to the United States.
With no hint as to what caused Stephen Paddock to open fire from his hotel window, police still piecing together every shred of information on who he was and what might have fueled his anger.
As we just heard, law enforcement says Stephen Paddock wasn't even on their radar. He apparently did frequent the Las Vegas Strip to gamble. Paddock's brother Eric says although the two weren't close, he's having trouble wrapping his head around the events that unfolded.
Paddock had no children, but he lived with a woman, 62-year-old Mary Lou Danley, who is currently overseas in Tokyo. And among the multiple weapons found in Paddock's motel room at the Mandalay Bay were 2 rifles with scopes mounted on tripods, apparently positioned in front of the room's 2 windows. Well, a Great Falls resident is on her way back to Montana after witnessing last night's mass shooting.
Dakota Wetham was with 15 friends who were just 20 feet left of the stage when those shots rang out.
At first, she said, the group thought they were hearing fireworks, but soon realized what was going on as the gunman shot into the crowd for what she says seemed like about 10 minutes straight.
I saw quite a few people on the ground, lots of blood and people just dropping as I was running. I want to get out of Vegas and not come back, in all honesty. What we saw was unbelievable.
A couple staying at Motel 6 let the group stay in their room until about 2:30 this morning. The couple is now awaiting their flight home from Vegas.
Well, tears fell as family members clung to loved ones as they arrived back in Missoula this afternoon from Vegas. One woman at the concert actually runs the trauma department at St. Patrick's Hospital.
And she says once she and her husband got their son to safety, they then went back to try to help the wounded.
We knew that we had to get him out, and then there were a lot of people that we started running into, the casualties, so we made a little triage area and worked with the local people and got ambulances to the area, and so we did triage on patients.
And it sounded like fireworks. I think everyone just kind of for a minute just kind of looked at each other, and then we saw them ushering everyone off of the stage, and people just started screaming and running and saying there's shooters.
Dozens have donated blood today here in Billings, some of which will go to Las Vegas as part of its blood supply replenishment.
United Blood Services tells us they saw 65 people here in town today. The location here in Billings is sister centers with the location in Vegas. And officials are urging people to consider donating blood over the next few weeks.
Well, the surge across the nation will help. Blood only lasts 42 days. Walk-ins are available, and United Blood Services is open 7 days a week.
Allegiant Air, a Las Vegas-based airline that offers flights to and from Montana, now offering free travel for family members of victims of this tragedy.
You can contact the airline at communications@allegiant.com. AllegiantAir.com. Now, Allegiant is also allowing travelers who want to change their plans this week to do so at no cost. President Donald Trump ordered flags across the country flown at half-staff in remembrance and respect of the victims' families.
Plus, Montana Governor Steve Bullock also ordering flags at the state capitol to be lowered. Those flags will fly at half-staff until sunset on Friday of this week. Now on to the weather scene tonight, Bob. A real reality check about the change of seasons, and it's heading our way tomorrow.
You guys are not going to believe this, but take a look at Great Falls right now. We got a picture from their iCam. That is snow, not smoke, and it is snowing pretty good. Look at the temperature, 29 degrees in Great Falls. And here's the reason why. Look at this. We have a winter storm warning up there, and this is a significant event. 6 to 12 inches of snow on the plains, up to 24 inches of snow in the mountains. And Dave Nordell, Emergency Management Services and City Planner of Great Falls, they said that they have a civil emergency for the heavy snow in that town, Great Falls. So a lot of heavy snow moving into that direction. And guess what? There it is now. Now look at this. Later tonight, it starts making its way into the Billings area. We think maybe sometime by 2 o'clock in the morning, the thing will begin here and producing some scattered snow showers. Then after that, it is out of here. So how much snow are we going to get? Well, according to the latest computer models, maybe about a quarter inch for Billings, but Great Falls, they could get maybe 12 inches of snow. That's why they have the civil emergency for that city. We'll have your forecast coming up in a few more minutes.
All right, thanks, Bob.
Governor Steve Bullock says spending cuts must be made in order to balance the state budget.
But the governor continues to make the case that those cuts do not have to be as deep if Republican lawmakers are willing to consider at least some form of tax increases. MTN's Mike Dennison picks up the story.
Speaking to a group of mental health providers in Helena Monday, Governor Bullock said his administration needs to find $227 million somewhere to make the state budget balance. The Democratic governor can do it himself through spending cuts that he decides, or as he put it, get some help from the Republican-controlled legislature.
Legislators will work with me. There is a better way to do this. And that's both with certainly some cuts, any transfers we can find, and revenue increases. In order to do that, though, I need to have a willing dance partner.
Most GOP leaders have said they're not interested in raising any taxes and say the cuts should be made. But Bullock said he's still hoping to convince enough Republicans that certain tax increases are acceptable to help mitigate some of the harsher cuts to human services, corrections, and education. He noted that earlier this year, Republicans rejected his proposals to increase state income taxes on the wealthy and some corporations. But he threw out some other possibilities Monday, such as higher tobacco taxes, or lodging taxes and rental car taxes on tourists, or alcohol taxes. He also said those increases don't have to be permanent and could be seen as a short-term fix to pay off record-high firefighting costs this year.
I think that many of our legislators get that you shouldn't be funding fires by eliminating hospice. There are some legislators that are saying no permanent tax increases, but maybe temporary revenue increases to pay for that fire.
That's a start.
Bullock would have to call a special session of the legislature to approve any tax changes. Later this week, a key legislative committee will meet in Helena to give its input on the possible cuts or other solutions. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Thank you, Mike.
Now, the state's budget shortfall is due to lower than projected tax revenue this year and, of course, complicated by those huge firefighting costs this summer.
Up next here on Q2 tonight, new details in the search to find a new leader for MSU Billings.
And coming up later in sports, a performance for the ages, plus the other best plays of the week in a new edition of Game Changers.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Jeanelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green.